Hello everyone, and welcome back to WolfQuest. We are here once more with Katari, and standing next to a very smelly, fly-infested carcass. And, oh, sorry, let me get my volume issues today. A very apparently fly-infested carcass. Katari's not hungry at the moment, so I think we're gonna leave those flies behind. And I hear hunting music, which means that there is probably an elk herd nearby. And we are in the elk hunting territory, so I would suspect there probably is one. And where are they? Just a matter of finding them. Well, anyway, we'll run around a little bit and see if you can find them. There's that that bunny we killed the other day. Oh, there they are! And like I said, Katari's getting pretty confident in her skills. She's still quite convinced that she is self-sufficient. She probably, even though there are some weaker elk, I think she's starting to think she can pick on some of the stronger ones, like these two here, and take them down. And she's finally getting settled in here because if you'll remember, she is not native to Yellowstone. She is actually from someplace else, but was taken here to help restore the wolf population by researchers. So she was captured, collared, and then re-released in Yellowstone to help and restore the wolf population after it was after it was actually hunted completely to extinction in Yellowstone, which, if you'll recall, caused a great deal of damage to the park. So Katari is part of that restoration effort, and sorry, my volume is still too loud, isn't it? Sorry, I have to keep toggling my volume around for different games. So Katari's finally getting settled in, getting used to the idea of hunting elk, and doing pretty well, honestly. She's been earning quite a bit of experience, and she has started to bump into dispersal wolves, but she's honestly not quite sure what to think of them, and she actually ended up running away from the one she ran into last time because she really wasn't sure what to think, and she started to feel like he was a little too forward. And if you'll recall, we are adding a little bit of a human element to our wolves' behavior and kind of personifying Katari in such a way as to, you know, a real wolf probably wouldn't experience a lot of the things we've said she's experiencing, probably wouldn't have all the same emotions and thoughts about things, probably wouldn't be quite so resistant to the idea of finding a mate, probably wouldn't be quite so self-sufficient, because in real life, a wolf's goal pretty much is to survive and ultimately pass on their genes by finding a mate and having puppies. So, and WolfQuest does a pretty good job of reflecting this, but to make things a little more interesting, we've been adding some more story to our game. So Katari's just been hanging out, probably hunting a little more than a normal wolf would too, but she's trying to get some experience, trying to kind of figure out just what she's doing and make sure she can handle herself in the wild. And she probably doesn't quite know what she's gonna do for winter. I mean, after all, she is in an unfamiliar area, and for as far as she knows, as far as she knows, this elk is kicking her harder than she thought it would. And she could be in a little trouble if she doesn't kill it soon. So that probably made her a little bit nervous. Her other hunts have gone better than that, but I think the more time she spends here, the more confident she gets, and perhaps the more aggressive she gets. But I think she's had her fill of elk after getting kicked quite a few times there, and she'd probably head off and see if she can find any other wolves and kind of reacquaint herself with the wolf packs in the area. And we found out last time the one thing Katari really doesn't like, even though she's not a huge fan of other wolves, and especially doesn't like coyotes, but she really doesn't like the cougars because they keep popping up and trying to steal her kills, and she does not appreciate that in the slightest. And she actually chased off a couple of cougars in the last episode. So she really doesn't like cougars. But she does at the same time understand that there are also other wolf packs in the area, and she's kind of trying to not so much get to know them in the sense of befriend them, but just to kind of familiarize herself with them and to know, okay, this is who lives here, this is where I am relevant to where they are, and just kind of trying to figure out who lives where. And so she's been running around to the different wolf territories, bumping into other wolves and kind of interacting with them a little bit. And usually, I mean, she's not afraid to boss the pack wolves around at all. She is quite the sassy little thing, but she really didn't know what to think about that dispersal. We'll have to see. He was down in the plains area, and I really don't think Katari knew what to think about him, and so we'll have to see if we bump into him again if we go down there, or what comes of that, if he ends up eventually becoming her mate, or if she finds a different mate, or just what goes on. So we'll have to see. You can hear the geese flying by overhead. That's one of the more recent updates, well, recent-ish, newer since the 2.7 version originally came out at least, has been all the different bird calls and such not. And we really can't. Where are we in the territory? It's probably, I think the territory goes more along. Yeah, it's probably past us this way, and that's why we're not seeing anything. Because, if you'll recall, we do have to, here we are. We do have to pay attention to the wind direction, and we have found another dispersal male. Oh, this is interesting. Now, he looks quite a lot like the one we met down in the plains, only he seems to be a little bit darker. And I think, I mean, he's not being aggressive, he's a little hesitant. I think Katari would greet him, just like she did the other one. And she probably would go and give him a friendly sniff and just kind of see what's up, see who this is. Just kind of saying hey, because that's what wolves and dogs do, is they communicate a lot by scent. And so I think she would try to kind of meet and greet and familiarize herself with his scent, and she probably would play a little bit because he hasn't been aggressive, and he seems to be enjoying that. So I think she's probably pretty happy with that. She'd probably want to keep playing. And just kind of enjoy a little bit of friendly company. And I don't think he appreciated that. It seems like he might have a little bit of a different goal in mind than Katari does. And I think that probably made her a little wary. She probably would keep trying to get him to play. They seem to like that, so... But she's definitely not thinking about starting a pack. She just really wants to kind of get to know the wolves. She's not out to find a mate. She's kind of confused as to why he's acting the way he is, and I think just like with the other one, she's a little bit spooked by this. Why is everyone so interested in starting a pack and everything? She's a little confused by all that, and I don't know. She doesn't feel quite ready for that, and I think she'd try to get out of the woods too, because if you'll recall, Katari isn't as at home in the woods as she is in the plains, because she originally came from a plains area. And yeah, she originally is from the plains, so she feels a lot more comfortable out in the open meadows. And I think she'd try to get out of there. She's like, yeah, these forest wolves are weird. Not like the plains wolf didn't kind of freak her out though too. And we'll have to see. We'll keep our eyes out for that guy and just kind of see. I mean, remember, these wolves all of them are very new to Katari. She doesn't know much about them at all. She just knows that they seem very forward, and we'd have to see how she'd react if she bumped into them again. So I think she probably feels a lot better out here in the open ground, kind of away from all those trees. She's not used to the trees. Maybe the sparse trees like you could sometimes see out here, but definitely not the thick trees like you find in the woodlands. And I almost thought I heard something. I don't know. I think sees, is that a carcass with ravens? I think that's a carcass with ravens. Yeah. And a coyote. Oh, another thing Katari doesn't like. Coyotes, they're always stealing from her kills, and she really doesn't like them, so she very determinedly chases them off. And she doesn't know this yet, but she'll have to keep on doing that because if and when she gets to the point of having puppies, those coyotes will be looking for more than just elk to steal. And you can hear in the distance, she maybe stop and kind of look around a little. You can see up there is actually a plane coming by, and that is because of the radio collar that Katari is scratching at right now. That's just the researchers flying by to track her and see how she's doing and make sure she's alright, not in any kind of trouble, and just make sure she's doing well in the wild, basically. And I think she's used to them coming by. She still probably is kind of like, what's that? Oh, it's just that weird bird again. But, yeah, she's not too concerned about it at this point. And I think, you know, she probably at this point is kind of just gonna roam around a little more. I don't know. She really hasn't seen much of... I mean, she's been here for probably a few days, but at least we haven't seen much of Amethyst at different times of day. Katari, I'm sure, has, but I think she would probably settle down for a little while in the shade of the trees and maybe rest and just take a little nap and see what's going on around dusk and see if there's anything different going on, because she usually tends to prowl around in the daytime, but, you know, I mean, sometimes stuff is different at different times of day. And I think she'd be kind of curious and maybe make sure she gets her rest a little earlier in the day. And real-life wolves, I believe, sleep a lot. In WolfQuest, you can pretty much just run around indefinitely and not have to sleep. But I believe real-life wolves sleep for the better portion of a day. I'm not sure actually how long. I'd have to look that up, but I do believe they spend quite a lot of time sleeping. So it is now dusk, and it's really cool how the different times of day you can see the sun's over there, and the lighting is very dramatic, and I think she just kind of try and see what's going on. Maybe check on this wolf pack and see what they do later in the day, because there is another wolf pack up here. I don't know. She maybe would wonder if that other wolf is up here still. But we'll have to see if we see him or not, or if we run into any of the pack wolves or not. And hopefully we'll find the scent trails. Probably have to come more this way, though, because we are at the very edge of the territory. Oh, here's some scent trails. And they're heading up this way. And here is a slough male. Now, this is a pack wolf. Not a dispersal. He's already got a family, so he's not quite, it doesn't have quite the same interest as those dispersals she's been finding. And she's recognizing that he's not quite so playful and relaxed. She's not about to take nonsense from him, especially when he does that. Katari is very snappy and feisty. And she's not about to let something like that slide, even if he is bigger than her, even if he is part of a wolf pack whose territory she is on currently. Wow, that was easier than I thought it would be. She's certainly not going to put up with him trying to appease her at this point. She's just like, get out. She's not going to put up with that. She probably kind of annoys the wolf packs, honestly. And it's still telling us we need to find a mate. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing on Katari's mind right now. Right now, she's just interested in roaming around and kind of probably settling down here in Amethyst Mountain, to be quite honest. And I think, you know, she might be kind of curious about those moose that we saw in the first episode. And the first time we saw them, she was like, ah, what is this? I don't want anything to do with this because there are a couple of bulls fighting. And she wanted nothing to do with that. She was still quite disoriented, having just been released here on the mountain. And she wasn't about to tangle with a moose. But now that she's gotten some experience hunting down some elk, she might try and go back over there and be a little more curious. And if she finds some moose, we might see what's going on with them, but she might also be interested in trying to take down a bull elk, because she's noticed them prancing around and looking so fancy with their antlers. But she hasn't quite had the nerve to try and take one down just yet. So she's going to kind of head back to where we originally found those moose and just see what's going on over there. And they were over, I think, up this rise, I believe. So, kind of over here, yeah. And that's just some grass. It looked like a creature for a second. Yeah, they were over in this area. And somewhere in here, I think they were right about here. I don't see or hear anything, though. Doesn't look like we have any moose right now. So I don't think Katari would spend too long trying to find moose. I think at this point she'd be more interested in the bull elk. And we do have quite a few carcasses in this area. Logically, I'm not sure if it would be enough to take down a bull. But Katari doesn't really have any idea what to think about the bull. I mean, really, it's just food with antlers. I mean, what's the big deal with that, right? So I don't think she would have too much of an issue just hunting down the bull and just going at him, even if there aren't that many carcasses around to heal herself up on. And you can see right over here that there's a bull elk, and I think she'd run in and ouch, he hurts! I think that kind of startled her a little bit. She didn't expect to take quite so much damage. I mean, after all, the other elks certainly don't hit her quite that hard. She'd go limping off to get some food, I think, and what the heck just happened kind of thing. She did not expect him to hit that hard, that is for sure. And if anything, I think her dignity has been sprained. That was not at all what she was anticipating. And she kind of expected it to be easier than that, in all honesty. She definitely expected it to be easier than that. At this point, I think she's kind of annoyed by that. She's a little ticked off. Not pleased that he would retaliate so fiercely. And I think that's made her a little bit more determined. She is quite headstrong and a little bit reckless. And she hasn't had all that much experience with survival, so she'd probably come and try and hit him again, but I don't know, she's been taking a lot of damage. Maybe she'd end up a little more cautious next time, because she also isn't doing quite that much damage to him either. Not nearly as much as she'd hoped she would. And there's an old bunny she left here that she'll eat up a little bit. But I think she would go try and find some food then. And just heal up. Now I think she's even more determined. Because she's like, this is an elk. This is food on legs. I'm not gonna let it get the best of me. Even though she's been kicked a couple of times, she's pretty determined to actually try and do some damage to him. And it sounds like the plane's coming around again. And they're probably seeing this, what the heck is a lone wolf doing attacking a bull elk? What is she doing? But at this point, she's kind of just irritated. I mean, she's not even doing all that much damage, and this elk is, although she wouldn't probably want to admit it, this elk is kind of kicking her butt. And she's not too amused by that. She's really not too amused by that. And, Whoa! What in the... That, I think, spooked her a little bit. The huge bird just, like, swooped down and tried to take out one of the elk. In her opinion, that was... What in the world? Well, that's the first time I've ever seen that. That was kind of interesting. I thought they crashed for a minute. That'd be interesting if the plane could come down and your wolf could stumble on researchers. I think she'd kind of sneak up on him this time and try and get a nip in, but he turned really fast. And I do think she's got enough sense to realize that she has been weakened by his hit. She's not angry enough to just charge in and be completely heedless of her health. But she is still pretty mad, and I think she'd still keep coming after him a little bit. Oh, look at all the flies. Look at all the flies around the carcass. Whoa. She's pretty determined now, and she has been making a little progress. Alright, where'd they go? They came over here. She has been making a little progress. Not the cow elk. We want the bull. Not that much, honestly, though. But, yeah, we'll have to see. She's kind of waiting for him to break and run, but he doesn't seem to be doing that just yet. I don't know how much longer she'd keep this up. She's kind of at the point of realizing that she may have to give this up. And I don't know, what would that do to her pride? She certainly wouldn't be happy about having the elk win. She might be at the point of starting to realize that maybe, at the very least, having a hunting companion might not be so bad when it comes to elk like this very tough bull elk. Where'd they go? She's maybe starting to realize, okay, maybe not doing this completely alone would be a good idea, finding someone else to help. Did they leave? Did they all disappear? No. Oh, no, they went this way. And I think she would try to get the bull from behind. Did he run? Did he hit her? I don't think he hit her. He didn't quite manage to hit her. This time he did. But I think that encouraged her that she got one in on him when he didn't hit her. So I think that kind of would spur her on to continue the fight. She is, however, running low on carcasses to heal herself. And if she has to go too far away, she knows the elk might get away. So that is another thing she's starting to have to think about. But I think getting that one bite in did encourage her, and okay, maybe she can do this on her own, and she can still prove that she can take care of herself and doesn't need another wolf to help her. But at the same time, all the hits she's been taking, and this guy isn't even on the run yet. Oh, he is finally on the run. Good. I think she'd go after him and maybe try and see. There's a carcass up here. She might try, and he's going to try and get back to his herd, but she's not far from the carcass, so she's going to go snag a quick bite to eat and then come back. And I think if she takes out this elk, that would do quite a lot to boost her confidence. And at that point, I honestly think that she might go ahead and take on a moose if she found one. She was thinking about it earlier, but I don't know if she'd actually do it. I mean, those moose are pretty big and pretty scary. And we'll have to see. I didn't think the elk got away. Nope, the elk didn't get away. But I do think he went back to his herd. Where do you go? There he is. Is he? Nope. Nope. Oh, I saw him back here. There he is. She's gonna keep coming at him now that she's got him on the run. She is determined to prove that she will be able to beat this elk. She's probably gonna try and kind of chase him towards where she knows there are carcasses if she can, because she does recognize that she's gonna need to eat. But at this point, she's very determined. She is seeing she's doing some damage at this point. She's gonna see if she can bring him down or not. I'm not used to hunting in scent view. She did take quite the kick that time. But she knows there's food just over here, and she's getting it in her head that maybe, just maybe, she can do this. However, if, at this point, if she failed at this hunt, I think she would start to see the wisdom in at least looking for someone who might be a good hunting companion. Maybe not necessarily a mate, but at least a hunting companion. Someone who would at least be able to help her take down this very, very stubborn elk. And he's going through the herd. She's desperately dodging kicks, trying not to get hit by any of the other elk. And I think she sees there's more carcasses up this way and start chasing him towards them. And not let him get back to the herd, because he just basically dragged her through there and tried to get her kicked by the other elk. And she is not pleased by that. However, I don't want this to go on too long for the sake of the episode, though, because we are running out of time, and I don't want this to be like an insanely long episode. And she's at the point of having to go and eat again, and so I think she'd head up to one of these carcasses up here and try and get some food, and we'll have to see. Hopefully she won't go too far from the elk, but we'll have to see. So there's some more carcasses up here, and she'd head off to one of them, I think, and try and replenish her health. And chase away the ravens. The ravens keep coming. And the ravens, I believe, do actually start to deplete the elk carcasses. Oop. Ah. Wrong button, so. And I still hear hunting music, and she knows the elk came back down this way, so she's gonna come and look and see if she can find... Ah, there's the herd. And she knows the bull would have gone back to him, and she can, in fact, see his big, fancy antlers. She maybe should be a little bit wiser about those antlers after possibly having taken him a couple of times while trying to fight him, but she is pretty headstrong, and she is not quite willing to quit on this one, even though she has taken quite a bit of damage and hasn't honestly done that much to him. So she'd probably keep up at it for a little bit longer, and definitely grab a bite at a carcass while she goes by. Maybe finish off the carcass at this rate. Not quite. And look for the bull elk. Try and get him. Try and do some more damage. The problem is she's not a very strong wolf. She's quite fast. She's at 60 speed, 60 stamina, 30 strength. So she's not all that strong, even though she is more balanced toward speed. And so even when she catches him, she's not hurting him that badly. So she probably is getting fairly tired and fairly ready to quit on this, but she doesn't quite want to give up just yet. She's desperate to see if she can actually take him down. But she is taking quite a lot of damage, and I think she's about to find that her carcass down here hasn't done quite... it's gone down a little bit too much to be able to fully replenish her health. And at that point, I think she might start to realize that it's kind of a lost cause. I mean, she's just eaten through almost entirely, almost 3 elk carcasses. And she hasn't taken him down. She just ate through completely her first one there. And the others in the area are getting depleted as well. And she's starting to realize that this guy is a lot tougher than she thought he would be. even though he's running away from her now, I think she would end up slinking off to go lick her wounds and definitely not giving up on it, but saying, I'll come back and we'll do this again some other time and I'll be stronger then. So she has sworn her sort of her revenge on the elk. And you know, we know wolves don't really take revenge. They don't really vow, I'm gonna take down this elk because I want to prove myself. But this is, again, it's just a story. We can put some of these in for the sake of the story, but I think she would go off up to this wolf territory again, and maybe she has the idea of perhaps trying to find a dispersal up here and saying, hey, you want to come hunt? There's an elk down there that I really want to taken down, but I'm not quite sure I can do it on my own. So I think she'd just go up here and see what she can find. And make sure she's sniffing around for the scents, of course. And trying to find out, are we, yeah, we're on the right side of the territory. She definitely, though, would stop and chase this coyote. And hunt down this coyote. Definitely. She does not appreciate coyotes because they steal her kills. And if she ever brought down that bull elk, she would be so mad if a coyote came and took it. And she's just thinking about that now, and I don't want these little punks taking my food. But she's gonna come sniff around and just see what she can find. And hopefully if she comes through this way, she'll be able to find him. I'm not seeing the sense. Wait. Oh, she probably has to go this way, actually. The wind direction is something that's kind of hard to get used to. You have to figure out what side of the territory you need to be on. Oh, here we go. Here's wolf scents. And they seem to be getting stronger this way. 4 minutes. Yeah, they're getting stronger. 3 minutes. Yeah, you can see they're kind of converging. I think she'd see just who these scents lead to. And there is... Okay, it seems like... Is it the same? No, it's not quite the same one as before, but it is another dispersal. And... Another black wolf. All three of the dispersal we've met so far have been black wolves, so I think she would greet him. She'd try to be nice, even though she's kind of realizing that this guy's not from a pack. I hope he's not as forward as the other ones have been. But and the plane, there's the plane. So I think she would say she likes him. She's trying to kind of curb her more hot-headed side and her unease, because she does want a hunting companion. And you can see the plane there in the background, coming by, and they come by quite a lot. They're probably like, what the heck is this wolf doing? I think she'd invite him to play, and she probably would consider asking him to start a pack, honestly. There goes the plane. She'd consider it. She might even ask him. She might even ask him and just see what he says. And he agreed. And I think that would freak her out. Poor Katari. She's really not quite sure what to think about these wolves. I really don't think she expected him to say yes. And she's probably kind of kicking herself now for running away. But she really doesn't know what to think about any of it. And I think she would honestly just go find somewhere to sleep and try and spend the night somewhere and just be completely done with the whole thing, done with that elk, and done with these dispersal males. And just kind of done with everything, and just like, oh, forget about it. So we shall have to see what Katari. Oh, she would definitely probably take out some of her anger and aggression on this coyote. Just be like, get away from my food. Even though she doesn't really have food nearby, but, so we shall have to see what she decides to do with herself this next time. And let's check on her stats. She does have 1,500 experience, so that's quite a lot, and I think that's almost enough. I think what it is there's different tiers of experience in WolfQuest, and so I believe you need like 2,000 or something to be able to name your puppies. And so it would be good, oh, excuse me, it would be good if we could at least have enough to name the puppies. So even though Katari is hanging around because she's quite indecisive and still not quite sure how to handle everything, we're hanging around because we want to be able to name the puppies. So we'll have to see what Katari finds next time as she continues to grow in experience and as she meets and greets with the different wolves in the world and continues to think about that bull elk and how much she would love to take him down. And I think before Katari leaves Amethyst Mountain to go to Slough Creek and raise pups, it would be a nice goal to see once she finds a mate, assuming she does, which for the sake of the story she most likely will. Oh, there's another coyote. But to try again and take down a bull elk. I think it would be kind of her last wish would be to go, and now with a companion to help her hunt, I think she would go and try to take down that bull elk one last time before she leaves for the creek. So, but we'll have to see if she manages to find a mate, and I hear another elk herd nearby. But we'll have to see if she does manage to find a mate, and once she does, assuming she does, for the sake of the story, she most likely will. We don't want to run around in Amethyst Mountain forever. So when she finds her mate, we will have to see if they are able to work together to bring down that bull elk and kind of complete her personal goal there. But we'll have to see if she finds her mate next time, and until then, this is Jay, over and out.